Today I show off my Seiko collection, why I bought them and why I think they're some of the best Seikos around. Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector channel, the show that does watch reviews a little differently.
Seiko!
When I say the word Seiko, what does that mean to you? To me, Seiko means
reliability, brand history, innovative designs, loads of designs, popular culture, record breakers, tough, supreme engineering, and horology trendsetters.
They're just some of the words that come to my mind when I think of Seiko. They make up a big bulk of my watch collection. I have amassed 9.5 Seiko watches. I say 9.5 because if you've seen my previous shows, you'll know why. So today's show is more of an overview of the watches I've got, why I bought the watch, and at the end of the show, I'm going to give my favourite parts of the watches. Don't forget my wife's thoughts on each Seiko at the end of the show.
Super!
Yeah, it's going to be a great one today.
Get your watch out.
Well, today I've got a fantastic Marathon XAR on today, 38mm with the bracelet. This thing is an absolute unit. Proof that toughness does come in small packages. What a beautifully military issued stunner. Okay, so here is my collection. Look at it. I'm a little bit embarrassed that these beauties are in a £20 watch box.
Available on Amazon, by the way.
But look at this array of Seiko loveliness. To be honest, what Seiko gives me, I don't think I need to wear another brand. Why don't we start with the SKX013? This was one of the first automatic watches I bought that started this watch collecting addiction. This hugely versatile and strapaholic watch has been there and done everything with me. There's enough polishing on the SKX that you can get away with wearing it as a dress watch. There's enough robustness and toughness to make this the perfect beta watch. Yes, it's got an out-of-date 7S26 movement inside, but I have never had a problem with this movement. Take it out of the watch box and give it a good old Seiko Samba, and then it's good to go. I'm never going to sell this watch. This one represents a bygone era of huge value for money. So that's one of the first Seikos I ever bought. Why don't we look at my last Seiko purchase, the Willard Recreation SPB153. Now this baby has quickly become one of my favourite Seikos in my collection. I was always worried about the diameter of this watch, but what I've learned that you have to take into account is that Seiko are magicians at making a big sized watch fit a tiny sized wrist. And on my wrist, I think this looks really good. Now the 6105 that this is a recreation of was a huge brave release for Seiko back in the 60s because it was the first asymmetrical shaped watch Seiko had made. I particularly love the green colour of this. There's like no other green I've seen around. Earthy, woody, military green. The movement inside this is still only 3 Hertz. I do appreciate the 70 hours of power reserve. Just look at the dial, it's so well done. From the big applied markers to that little lollipop red on the seconds hand, this is truly a classy Seiko diver. Although the SPB153 came with a nice silicone strap, I never did get the right fit with it. So at the minute I've got it on this really good Uncle Seiko bracelet made specifically for the Willard. Okay, next up is my 62 mass stroke SPB143 build. Yes, a few months ago, Brandon at Case and Dial made this watch for me using aftermarket modding parts with a Seiko NH35 movement and an original Seiko dial. After reviewing the SPB143, I was a little bit miffed about spending £1,000 on a watch with only a 3 Hertz movement. Now, yes, it's not as refined as the SPB143, from the bezel action to the extra tough coating on the stainless steel, to the 6R35 movement that has a 70-hour power reserve like the one in my Willard SPB153. I have to say I've really enjoyed wearing this watch. I'm not trying to pass it off as a 143, nor am I trying to sell it to you as that. It stopped me from wanting to buy the SPB143 at the time,
but I've still got the urge to buy one.
Anyway, this beauty is on an Uncle NATO Tropic strap. Such a good pairing. Keeps it vintage. Anyway, that is why it's only half a Seiko and not a full one.
Get your watch out.
Let me stop you for a minute and talk to you about Watch Crunch. This is a new online platform made by watch nerds, designed for watch nerds. All things watches are welcome on Watch Crunch. It's so easy to use as well. all you got to do is make a profile and then start posting away. Why not come follow me? The site is so easy to use. You can post opinions or post photos of your watches and follow other like-minded watch maniacs. I was honestly that impressed with Watch Crunch. They have become the official sponsor of the Mad Watch Collector channel. Check out the link in the description below and see what the fuss is about. Next up is my favourite work beater, the Mini Turtle Paddy. I always smile when I put this watch on. I do love a Pepsi bezel. It's a little pop of colour to your working day. But that dial, I love it. That wave pattern texture is superb. I don't have many dials like that. Big bold indices, awesome handset. For anyone looking for an upgrade for their SKXs, the Mini Turtle is the way to go. I've got it on a Vortex rubber strap. Complements this watch so well. Proper diver's strap. But again, it's one that's never going to leave my collection. My last diver of the collection is the Seiko ARNIE. Yes, the SNJ 025, a recreation of the original Seiko H558, the watch worn on the wrist by Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator, Commando. It was his personal watch. It was a huge deal because it was the first ANI Digi diver. Now my reissue has slight upgrades to the old one. We've got screw-in pushers, which I do appreciate. We've got a solar-powered movement. The case is slightly bigger, and this is probably the biggest watch I own.
But I don't care.
It makes me feel tough. It's a surprisingly heavy watch, and I'm extremely proud every time I put it on. Makes me think of those good old 80s action films.
What the hell are you?
That tuner case, it just highlights the innovations and the trend settings that Seiko has done over the years. An awesome diver that I am never getting rid of.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel.
The SNA 411P1, the FLIGHTMASTer. Yes, a fan's favourite and a favourite of TGVs from the urban gentry. This watch is all sorts of busy, isn't it? I'm a simple guy.
Can you tell?
But I like my dials to be clean and able to be read straight away. So it was a surprise that I made this purchase, as I think there's more going on in this dial than the rest of them put together. But you know, somehow it works. Awesome magnified bubble hardlex crystal is really cool. It gives you that vintage vibe, and I just love the attention to detail, like the applied silver markers and that dash of yellow on the chronograph hands. It's got 200 meters of water resistance, and it's a very reliable Seiko quartz movement. Following on from that yellow theme, I've got it on a really cool NDC original NATO strap. It works so well with this watch, and this has become quite a favorite work watch for me, and I never thought I'd like it. I think everyone should experience a FLIGHTMASTer sometime in their life. Time for a vintage watch nightmare. Now, I absolutely love the 6139. It was the first automatic chronograph on the market, which is a big thing. And it was also the first automatic chronograph in space, thanks to William Pogue. Now, I bought this watch on eBay. Buying one of these Pogues is an absolute minefield, especially on eBay, because you get a lot of Franken watches. 6139 cases with a mishmash of all sorts of old and new parts put together and then flogged off to an unsuspecting mug like me. Now, it wasn't until I got the watch a little bit wet, condensation started coming through underneath the crystal and the watch stopped. But I have to say a big thank you to Michael at My Retro Watches for having a look at it for me and to see if he can get it going again. Well, the amount of things he said was wrong with it.
I'm surprised he didn't throw it in the bin.
So many parts were left out, worn out, replaced, that to the unsuspecting buyer like myself, we would have no clue of knowing. Thanks to Michael's ingenious work, he put the watch back together and it's running again. Now, there's a warning for everyone buying vintage watches online. I personally won't be doing it again. I will be going to someone like the Antiques Watch Company. You know, skilled watchmakers that can properly service a watch and not mug you off with one that's gonna die in the next week. Fortunately for me, I didn't spend too much on this watch. Aesthetically, I absolutely love it, and it's made me want a proper vintage, untouched one even more. The the SNK 809. Yes, for many, this lovely little Seiko 5 was the gateway to the world of watches, as the SKX was for me. Well, I have to say that this little bead-blasted beauty has really charmed me, so much so that I've kept it in my collection after I did the review. Right now, I've got it on a CWC NATO strap, which works absolutely perfectly with this watch. It has that 7S26 movement in it, like the SKX, which means I do need to do but it's an incredibly good daily, weekly beta watch. And if you can still get one of these for around £100, I definitely recommend getting one. It's the Saab 033, a watch named the Baby Grand Seiko. Now, when this watch first came out, it personified the Seiko value for money sticker, the beautiful applied indices, the Grand Seiko style handset, the upgraded 6R15 movement that was only used in your high level divers at the time. Now, I have to say this is probably the most dressy watch in my Seiko collection, so if I did need a watch for maybe wearing a suit, this would be the one to get. Currently though, I've got it on a Haverston single pass NATO. I love the blue colour of this strap that plays with the black and dressy style of the watch. This one has been very close to leaving my collection.
Then staying, then leaving, then staying.
I don't wear it that often, but when I do, I really do appreciate it. And finally, the Seiko ALPINIST Saab 017. I did a review of this discontinued Saab 017 as well as the new Prospects one a few weeks ago. I preferred the older one because on the new one it had a Cyclops, it had a Prospects logo on it, the dial was a slightly different colour, and overall it just didn't look as good in my opinion. I never thought I'd have more than one green dial in my collection, but the way those gold indices play off that green sunburst dial is awesome. The cathedral style hands are very unique, especially if it's a Seiko. Screw down crown as well as a screw down case back, giving you 200 meters of water resistance, and it's got that really unusual inner rotating compass bezel. Now I've got this on another Haverston single pass NATO strap, and I think these greens work so well together. Just gives it that field watch type of vibe. It can be dressy, this watch, but I am nowhere near a dressy person. But I think it complements my collection very well. So there you go, my 9.5 Seiko watch collection. Which was your favourite? Now for the awards. Right now has to go to the SPB 153. No other watch hugs and sits and rests on my wrist quite like this watch. Well, I'm a lover of vintage, so that SPB 143 62 mass and the SPB 153 gets the nod from me. Simple but stunning. Also, you can't deny how cool that Alpinist is, and obviously that Pogue is pretty special as well, isn't it? Well, it's gotta go to the Mini Turtle. Silver syringe style on the hour, but I really love that red framed minute hand. Awesome arrow. Well, there's only one man to tell you that one.
Hi, I'm Kurt Santana, and for me, it's got to be the SPB 153. First of all, we've got that beautiful coin edge, then that very attractive green aluminum inside. The purchase and the ratchet has that Seiko spongy wonginess, but it has a more refined 120 clicks, like I say, an SKX.
If I ever were a rich man, and welcome to another edition of the Design House, where today, we have a plethora, a group, a gathering, a school of Seiko. I'm so excited to tell you my favorite. Let's go. Oh, and what a sight indeed we have here. I must say I'm attracted to two specifically. An exhibition display case back with Hardlex crystal protecting that engine. The Saab 033 and the SNK 809. Showing off the mechanics, the mystery, the magic. Metal twixt metal. I must say I do
appreciate an exhibition case back. But the others are nice. So there you go. The definitive answer to which is the best display case back from the 10. I'll see you for another episode of The Design House. Cut. Oh, that was a good one, wasn't it? Need a wee.
Should we turn out the lights after 3? 1, 2, 3. Oh, and look at that mini turtle at the bottom in the middle with those huge indices. Definitely the brightest watch in the collection. Here it is, my wife's views on every Seiko we've shown today. Are you ready? Yeah, there's a lot of green, isn't there? It's quite dressy. I like the gold. Yeah, I'd look twice if I saw this on a wrist. This one's a little bit boring. This one is quite military looking. I quite like it. But I don't like the case. It looks plasticky. No. Looks like a beer mat. Very busy, but it's done well. Reminds me of a granddad's watch. But I do like the dial. Yes, I really like this one. This one works really well. This one is nice, but a bit meh. I think the red and blue looks really tacky. This one looks like a giant stopwatch. But I know you said Arnold Schwarzenegger wore it, so I quite like it. Now, not only did I get my wife's opinions, I got my 4-year-old daughter to give her favourite. And it was the mini turtle, because she loved the blue strap. Today's shot comes from Watch Phases Studio, and it is a beautiful photograph of the Seiko SPB 117, the reissue Alpinist, in the foreground, showing off the beautiful landscape of California Big Sur. On a cold, dark, rainy day like today, that shot doesn't half piss me off. But thank you for sending it, my friend. If you'd like to be on the next Seiko showcase, all you gotta do, find me on Instagram here and tag me in on one of your Seiko posts. Because who knows, next time, the star of the show could be you. Seiko. Thank you so much for watching till the end of this show. I'm the Mad Watch Collector, and I'll see you in a tick, 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 a tick.
Every little second, every hour, every minute.